they gauge well and then they present the options. Those options are, again, the product of dysfunctional and narcissistic families. Those, products are again the ones who have not worked on themselves, who are not healed at all. Yeah, so they present such options so that the adult child is also happy and feels good that my parent got me married, this is my parents' selection, and the narcissistic parent also gets their source of supply. So both of them are happy, and again, the adult child and his or her, the spouse that was selected by the narcissistic parent are devoted and dedicated and loyal in the service of the narcissistic parent. So hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about why it gets very difficult to be with someone who has been raised by narcissists. Yeah, and before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So in the past we have talked about narcissistic parents and how damaging they are, and it's these narcissistic parents who are solely responsible if their children have problem with their relationships in future. These narcissistic parents are to be blamed and not the children. The entire problem is the kind of conditioning that the kid goes through. Yeah, the kid is not seen as a kid or as an individual entity. For a narcissistic parent, the child is like a doormat, an unpaid laborer, an emotional toilet, a punch bag, a servant, a pet, a dog, whatever you call it. I know it sounds horrible, but that's the fact. Yeah, that's how they treat their sources. That's how they treat their victim. They don't treat them as an equal. The narcissist is always right. In this case, narcissistic parents are always right. They know it all. The kid has to serve them. The narcissistic parents are going to do a bare minimum and keep the kid reminded of the bare minimum, and then they are going to parentify the kid. They are going to teach the kid the art of shape shifting. Yeah, so prioritize the narcissistic parents needs and wants and desires and betray your own self. Yeah, listen to the parent and then think about your own self. Keep serving them and keep ignoring your own self. That is what it is. That's what the narcissistic parents train their kids in. I mean, to betray their own self and to keep serving the narcissistic parents. Narcissistic parents have this extreme sense of entitlement and righteousness. So after they give birth to a child, they think they have done a great favor to the child by giving them birth and giving them shelter, giving them food. I mean, that is bare minimum, and every parent is expected to do that to the best they can. Everyone is expected to do that. Yeah, we choose to be parent. The kids don't mail us or send us a message that, hey mom, I want to come through you, hey dad, I want to come through you. No, we plan, we decide. So it is our responsibility, and we should not guilt trip our kid, yeah, for the things that we do. I mean, we chose to be parent, and it's our duty to nourish them, provide them with a safe good environment where they can grow and bloom, and that's it. But narcissistic parents see their kids, their spouse, as a source, as a slave in the entire family. So they don't expect them to do things their way. They expect them to function the way how they want or they approve of. So narcissistic parents will decide who the kids should marry. Narcissistic parents will decide what the kids should do, study, or whatever. Narcissistic parents are going to decide how their kids need to be, I mean, or their adult children needs to be with their spouse. Narcissistic parents decide how their adult children need to raise their children. Narcissistic parents decide a lot of things. Yeah, they decide a lot of things, they control a lot of things, and basically they don't allow their kids, adult children, to exercise their own autonomy, yeah, to live life and lead life their way. Yeah, narcissistic parents hate that. We all know that narcissists hate authenticity. Authenticity is something that enrages, and it is a part of being authentic to be independent. Yeah, to make independent choices, to take independent decisions. Yeah, so that's a part of being authentic, but that is not something that the narcissistic parents entertain, like, or appreciate. They hate it, and in return they gaslight, they create sibling rivalry. So narcissistic homes are like battlefield. It's not like a peaceful place where kids can live peacefully. Yeah, kids can have sanctuary, yeah, where they can nourish their soul, where they can nourish their mind. No, it's almost like a battlefield. Yeah, and either you are scapegoated, either you are antagonized, traumatized, gaslit on a regular basis, or there is sibling rivalry. One becomes good, a favorite child to the narcissistic parent, then you are belittled and you are shamed, invalidated, and then the other is treated as a golden child. If the golden child tries to do things their way, then they are demoted and they are made the scapegoat, and then you, being a scapegoat or an invisible child, then you are promoted to being the golden child. So it's not a healthy family. If you have narcissistic parents, you really don't have a family. Yeah, it's like a battlefield where you have to keep shape shifting. It's almost like walking on eggshells. You really don't know what can cause the narcissistic parent narcissistic injury, and you're basically trained to serve them. Now, with this kind of a conditioning, if a kid grows up to be an adult, they might appear to be physically like an adult, a grown-up man, or as a grown-up woman, but over here they are like the kid. Yeah, they are someone who has been raised for a purpose. They had been bred for a purpose, and they know their purpose, and their purpose is to serve the parent. Even if they grow old, even if they start working, even if they get married, they know that they cannot override the narcissistic parent. Yeah, otherwise the narcissistic parents are expert in activating guilt and shame in the child. Yeah, I did this for you, I did that for you, despite of all problem, pain and challenges. I never left your father. I decided to stay with him just because of you. I never left you alone just because I love you. I never left you. I never left caring for you. Even though there was a horrible situation in the house, your grandmother was against me, your father was misbehaving, but I still stayed in this relationship just for you. Yeah, despite of all challenges, we tried to give you the best. They will keep you reminded of anything that they do. Yeah, they will have a record with them. Yeah, the things they have done for you. So relationship for a narcissist is very transactional, instrumental, and conditional. Yeah, so the narcissists have already trained the kid by withholding love and affection. Yeah, if you don't do their way, silent treatment, then stonewalling, passive aggressive behavior, withholding of love and affection, and it makes the kid feel bad. That's not what a kid wants. A kid wants to feel safe, a kid wants to feel seen and heard, and that's it. Let kids be kids. But narcissistic parents don't believe in this. Yeah, for them kids are a source, a kind of a short-term investment that they can do, and get a lot of benefits after some time. So now, with such a conditioning, withholding love and affection, if you see on a chemical level, the body is flooded with cortisol. Yeah, the kids are all the time walking on eggshell. Is quite similar to being in that fight or flight mode all the time. Body is being flooded with cortisol, withholding of love and affection, and then tiny bit of validation breadcrumb. Yeah, a little release of dopamine. So the body relaxes, the kid also feels good and happy. So this is what makes, a narcissistic relationship very addictive. Withholding love and affection, gaslighting, minimization, all kinds of, abuse, and then tiny bit of validation, appreciation, or display of love and affection. So, chemically also, if you see, narcissistic relationships become very addictive. Now these kids are trauma bonded with their parents, yeah. The kids have a lot of cognitive dissonance, so they really cannot accept the fact that my parent can be an abuser, my parent can be a horrible person, a narcissist. They know it, they don't feel good, but they don't want to, see and accept the truth, yeah. Because of that cognitive dissonance, they still keep hoping story. Maybe my father was stressed, or maybe my father was under some pressure and that's why he behaved like this. So these kids, they grow up with confusion. So what do you expect? They have zero clarity. They are trauma bonded to their abusers, in this case the narcissistic parent. So it gets very difficult to be with such a person. Adult children of narcissistic parents are trauma bonded individuals to their abusive narcissistic parents. And the strings are in the parent's hand. If the kid, doesn't accept what he is going through, if the kid is not doing, the healing, if the kid is not, trying to heal and outgrow that dysfunctionality, it gets very difficult to be with such individuals, be with such kids, yeah. Because they keep hoping that one fine day my parent is going to see me and hear me, and that's how the parents, control the kids, yeah, by withholding love and affection. If you don't do this way, I'm not going to speak to you, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to, display love and affection. So, narcissistic parents don't see the kids, their children, or in this case adult children, as a different individual, yeah, with their own individuality. They see them as an extension, and they expect the spouse or the partner of their adult children also to, behave and function like their, children, adult children, yeah. So they want both of them, I mean the adult children and their spouse partner, to be in their service, yeah. When they see that the, partner, the wife or the husband of the adult child is, exercising his or her autonomy, having his or her own, things, her own way or his way, narcissistic parents don't bear that. It causes them narcissistic injury. In a narcissistic family, narcissistic home, narcissistic relationship, the narcissist is always superior and everyone else is there just to serve him or her. So narcissists hate, yeah, when they see that the spouse or the partner of their adult children is not buying the narcissistic parents shit. They are not buying, all of that, and they are just being themselves. Now they get threatened. That causes them narcissistic injury. And when narcissistic parents, experience narcissistic injury by seeing, the spouses or the partners of their adult children um, being themselves, they get into aggressive gaslighting and manipulation, lots of triangulation, nasty, smear campaigns they run. This is basically to tarnish the partner's image, the spouse's image, I mean the spouse of the adult children, yeah. So this is basically to tarnish that. Narcissistic parents will leave no stone unturned. They will go to any extent to, make the spouse or the partner of their children comply to them, yeah. They are going to gaslight their kid. Well, I did this for you, look, your spouse is not listening to me. Well, I did that for you, your spouse is disrespecting your father, your spouse is not listening to me, your spouse is not wearing this, your spouse is not doing this and serving me, all the time asking questions and arguing. This is not, why I raised you. This is not what I was expecting, from your spouse. So narcissistic parents are really low level, individuals who will go to any extent to gaslight their adult children into, believing that there is something wrong with their spouse. And we know where all of this leads or goes. Yeah, eventually the relationship ends. Yeah, the adult children's relationship with their spouse, it goes through a lot of ups and downs, turmoils, and eventually it ends because nobody wants to stay in a relationship where they are emotionally antagonized on a regular basis. Yeah, nobody wants to experience all of that. Healthy individuals don't want to experience all that, low level stuff, all that dysfunctionality and nonsense. So people give up, they get separated, they take divorce, or they just leave these adult children of narcissistic parent, because till the time the adult children don't realize what they have gone through or what they are dealing with, till the time they don't have radical acceptance, they cannot start an individual relationship, they cannot start a love relationship or a husband wife relationship properly. Yeah, because every time the narcissistic parent is going to gaslight them, and they are going to run smear campaign. Yeah, and they are going to basically keep manipulating their adult children into forcing the spouse or the partner into complying with their needs and requirement. And not everybody tolerates. Yeah, these days that is the reason divorce rates are increasing. People don't want that. Yeah, people want some peaceful time, people want some happy moment, they don't want all that dysfunctionality where a narcissist is ranting day in and out, about the things he or she has done for the child, and the list of expectation that he or she has from the child as well as from the child's spouse. So nobody wants to get into that, and eventually the relationship ends. Now the adult children of narcissists are left confused. Most of the time they are lonely, or they are in dysfunctional relationship. The parent chooses a very submissive partner which can serve the child, the adult child, as well as the narcissistic parents. So most of the time narcissistic parents prefer getting their adult children married with their selection. Yeah, something that they select and approve of. Yeah, because they can test the water, they know whether at all he or she is submissive, whether at all he or she is aware or not, and they can gauge well. Yeah, so they gauge well, and then they present the options. Those options are again the product of dysfunctional and narcissistic families. Those products are again the ones who have not worked on themselves, who are not healed at all. Yeah, so they present such options so that the adult child is also happy and feels good that my parent got me married, this is my parent's selection, and the narcissistic parent also gets their source of supply. So both of them are happy, and again the adult child and his or her the spouse that was selected by the narcissistic parent are devoted and dedicated and loyal in the service of the narcissistic parent. So a relationship with the adult child or someone who has been raised by narcissists can be very challenging and difficult. Yeah, because if the kid is unaware, or if the kid is not having radical acceptance, the adult child is not having radical acceptance, it gets very difficult, because you would keep on trying to tell them something that is not right, but they will keep on searching the goodness. Yeah, that is what trauma bonding does, to keep searching the goodness. Yeah, and a narcissistic relationship is made up of 90% abuse and 10% good. So the adult child is going to keep recalling the pencil that was bought by the narcissistic mother, or the jacket bought by the narcissistic mother, the good food that she made, the good t-shirt, and the good education that the narcissistic father provided. So the child is going to forever feel indebted the narcissistic parents don't leave an opportunity to keep the child reminded. So the adult child is all the time, in that delusional state where they are like, okay, she did this, she did that. That's how they anchor themselves to the relationship, that 10% superficial 10% thing, the bare minimum, and they keep enduring the 90% of the abuse. So it becomes very difficult for their partner and spouses to explain them as to how, as to what they are experiencing. These kids, they have a lot of cognitive dissonance. Yeah, they really don't believe their spouse, they believe their parents. Yeah, in a way you can say narcissistic parents and their adult children are married to each other. They are in the service of each other, because a narcissistic parent trains the child from an early age to be like a partner. Yeah, a partner who can hear them, a partner who can listen to them, and give them the same thing what their spouse or partner is supposed to. So this is how damaging narcissistic parents are. They parentify the kid, the son, the daughter. They become a surrogate husband and wife to the narcissistic parent. Yeah, so it's a very I would say um, unhealthy enmeshment that you get to see in a narcissistic family, between the adult children and the narcissistic parent. So it gets very difficult, to be with such a person, because a narcissistic parent, uh, is expert and pro in activating guilt and shame. I did this for you, I did that for you. Are you going to listen to her, or are you going to listen to me? So the kid has no other option apart from complying to the parent, and they try their level best to balance things. I mean, these adult children, they try and explain to their spouse and partner as well that it's okay, why don't you just listen to it, listen from one ear and let it go from the other, all of that. They try and balance things, but it doesn't work out. Yeah, narcissists are toxic individuals. Narcissists are demons who suck the energy out of you. Yeah, that's how toxic and damaging narcissistic individuals are. So in the end, a healthy individual